Redemption hits when you least expect it. A cast-off tackle is back to face the most dangerous pass rush in the NFL. A linebacker pulls off what nobody else does while dominating the field, and Peters makes roster moves nobody saw coming. 3 stories that flip everything you thought you knew about this team before Saturday. Leave now, and you'll miss the most important play of the week. News 1. Brandon Coleman left tackle redemption after months of watching Brandon Coleman lose his starting job. Shift from left tackle to left guard, and then lose that spot too to Chris Paul. I honestly thought his time in Washington was done. But here we are, Commanders fans, and guess what? Coleman is starting at left tackle this Saturday against the Eagles. And why? Because Laramie Tunsil is out with an injury. Mike Garafolo confirmed it. The starting left tackle won't play against Philly. Now, the full weight of protecting Jaden Daniels' blind side falls on a player most had already written off. But let me tell you this, Coleman already showed us what he's made of last week against the Giants. When Tunsil went down, Coleman stepped in cold, no special prep, and you know what happened? 14 pass protection snaps, 0 pressures, 0 sacks. His best performance of the season. Dan Quinn saw something in that showing that most didn't. The head coach talked about Coleman's resilience, how he didn't hang his head when he lost his spot. He wasn't a guy who sulked and got down, Quinn said. He said, all right, I'm going to work and give it everything. And when his number was called, he was ready. You think that was just luck? You think Coleman just had a good day? I don't. This is a 3rd-round pick, drafted to be the left tackle of the future. The team invested draft capital in him, and now he's got a shot to prove that investment wasn't a mistake. So let me ask you this. What does this mean for Coleman's future in Washington? Because there are 2 scenarios here, and both are interesting. Scenario 1. Coleman plays well against one of the most dominant defensive lines in the NFL. Adam Peters could flip him for draft capital or a player we actually need. Let's be real, how many teams in the league have a 24-year-old left tackle who can play both guard and tackle at a competitive level? This is a unit that's wrecked offensive lines all season, and Coleman's going to have to face them solo, protecting our franchise QB's blind side. Remember when we drafted Coleman in 2023? The hope was he'd be our left tackle for the next 10 years. Then Peters came in, brought Tunsil, and everything changed. But football is a game of opportunity, and Coleman's is right now. I believe this Saturday we're going to see what Brandon Coleman is really made of. He's going to protect Jaden Daniels against one of the best pass rushes in the conference. He's going to show whether all that quiet work in practice, all that prep as a backup, was worth it. And here's the thing, Coleman isn't just playing for his future in Washington. He's playing for his NFL career. He's playing to prove to Adam Peters that he belongs on this roster long term. Do you think Coleman is ready for this moment? Can he handle the pressure of protecting Jaden against the Eagles? Because I'm telling you, if he delivers another performance like last week, his chance to prove that 3rd-round pick wasn't wasted. His moment to write a new chapter with the Commanders. And we, the fans, will be watching every snap, every block, every protection. Wagner just finished his MBA at Howard University. Yeah, you heard that right, Master of Business Administration. And we're not talking about just any school. We're talking Howard University, founded in 1867. The only HBCU with R1 research status, same tier as Harvard and MIT. Wagner didn't take the easy road. He took the one that proved something. When asked if it was tough balancing the NFL, business, and school, you know what he said? Tough? Not really. I feel like guys play video games during the season. I just choose to learn. And that mindset right there is exactly why Bobby Wagner is a future Hall of Famer. It's not just the tackles or the leadership on the field. It's because he gets that the NFL is just a fraction of his life. But do you know why Wagner did this? People think the only reason you're in those rooms is because of who you know. They think we skip steps or haven't done the work. When he's closing million-dollar deals, when he's making business decisions, he got there because he did the work. And here's the wildest part. He chose Howard for the culture. The culture, being surrounded by it, embraced by it, seeing people who look like you, inspired to do more than just business. Now, let me ask you, how many active NFL players are earning an MBA while still playing? How many are thinking about life after football like this? Most are focused on the next contract, the next stat, the next Pro Bowl. Wagner is thinking about the next 30 years, building a legacy that goes way beyond tackles and picks. And here's the connection to the Commanders that most miss. Magic Johnson is a co-owner of this team. Magic built a business empire after his NBA career. So part of what I do off the field is expose young men and women to things I wasn't exposed to. Do you see the impact of that? He's paving the way for others. He's proving you can be a dominant linebacker and a serious business student at the same time. And he plans to walk the stage at Howard's graduation in May. Picture that. That's burgundy and gold, baby. And you know what I love most about this story? That was the one thing I didn't like in college. But he grew, evolved, and saw the value of education. I believe this is the definition of leadership. It's not just what you do on the field. It's what you do off it. The Commanders didn't bring in Bobby Wagner just for his defensive skills. They brought him in because he's the kind of person you want in your locker room. The kind of guy who lifts everyone around him. The Commanders officially elevated tight end Lawrence Cager from the practice squad for Saturday's game against the Eagles. Now I know what you're thinking. Who's Lawrence Cager? Fair question, because this isn't exactly a household name. Cager is 28. Came out of Georgia undrafted in 2020. Signed with the Jets. Spent years bouncing between practice squads and active rosters with the Jets, Browns, and Giants. In 2023 with the Giants, he played 11 games, caught 4 passes for 36 yards and a touchdown. Sounds impressive? Not really. But here's the thing. Adam Peters doesn't make moves without a reason. If Cager's getting elevated for the Eagles game, there's a specific reason behind it. We need bodies. We need options, especially against an Eagles defense that's going to bring heat all day. Knows multiple systems and can step in and do his job without making costly mistakes. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. You don't need a star at every position. Are the Commanders planning to use more multi-tight end sets against the Eagles? Because let's be real, the Eagles have one of the best defenses in the league. Cager's been in and out of the Commanders roster. He knows Cliff Kingsbury's system. He knows the protections. He knows what's expected. And in a division game against the Eagles, that kind of familiarity is priceless. I think this is a tactical move more than anything. Peters is making sure we've got every tool we need to compete on Saturday. Making sure we're not short on options if something goes sideways mid-game. Is Cager going to be the hero? Probably not. Is he going to make the highlight reel? Doubt it. But if he does his job, makes his blocks, and is in the right place at the right time, he'll have done exactly what we need. Commanders fans is what building a complete roster is all about. It's not just about stars. It's about depth. It's about options. It's about having guys who can step in when it matters. What do you think about Coleman's shot? Does Wagner's MBA inspire other players? Can Cager bring what we need? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear from the nation.